little bit about myself, Kate Woolley. I lead the IBM ecosystem globally. So anything where we are doing business with partners, whether that's selling our technology, building services around our technology, or building on our technology. Prior to joining IBM, I spent 15 years at Bain. So while I love my job, one of my favorite leadership roles is actually as a parent. I think one of our most important jobs as parents is for us to raise our son to be an ally to this room, and for us to raise our daughter to feel like she can take advantage of any opportunity that's put in front of her. So today we're going to talk about how we as women can take our seat at the table and seize opportunities as we move through our professional and our personal lives. So I thought I'd start with a little story. Years ago, I was at a pivotal point in my career when I was in consulting. I was junior enough that I wasn't really sure that I belonged in the room, but I was senior enough that I was actually the best person to have in the room. And I was asked to present to the board of a client of mine. I was incredibly nervous. The board meeting had been running for hours. I walked into the room and every single seat at the table was taken. But something came over me and I actually picked up a chair and I walked up to the table and I asked people to move to the side and I pulled up a chair and sat at the table. I proceeded to play a more active role in that meeting than I ever thought possible. And to this day, the CEO of that company is one of my biggest advocates. And I share that story not only because I literally asserted my seat at the table, but it also marked a turning point for me when I realized how important my voice was in the room and that I had to push myself out of my comfort zone to put it out there. And it also marked a moment when I became very conscious of the approaches I was taking to seize more opportunities. So I want to talk about two of those approaches today, and hopefully, one or both of them will resonate with some of you. The first one I call building your pit crew. Lots of people call this very different things: building your board of advisors, building the board of mentors around you. It's really who is helping you on your journey. And I do think that no matter what you're doing, it's easier to do it when you've got a crew around you. They're the people who are pushing you to do more. They're lifting you up when you aren't sure you can be lifted up yourself. They're that mirror you need when you need to ask some really hard questions of yourself. And they laugh with you. They're a shoulder to cry on. I actually have my crew written down. I have their name, their role, the topics I want to talk to them about, the topics I can talk to them about. It might sound a little bit crazy, but it actually means when I'm in a moment of really needing some support, I know exactly where to turn. And so take a moment now to reflect on who's in your crew. And if you're not sure about it, today's probably a great time to start thinking about it, because there are probably people sitting right next to you at these tables who would be fantastic members of your crew. Your crew can change. The one thing I would say to remember about building your pit crew is that you're the driver. This is about you making decisions that are best for you, and this is not about other people making decisions for you. So it's how do you make the best possible decisions for yourself, and being very deliberate about that. So now let me turn to the second approach. This is about how do we empower others and in turn become empowered. It's a well-known fact that women are over-mentored and under-sponsored. The very simple definition I have of that is that mentoring is advice given to a person, and sponsoring is actively pounding the table for the person when they're not in the room. So being a champion for women. Women need more champions. We need them in the formal promotion process, but we also need them in the everyday moments of truth. So we need to not only tell women they're doing a great job, we need to tell other people about it as well. And that's the big ask I have of you today. When I stepped into my current role, it was important that I felt I had sponsors across IBM. And I felt that some people actually were questioning whether I was really tough enough for the job. And 6 months after taking on the role, I was talking to a senior sponsor of mine at IBM, and I mentioned this concern. And he actually said to me that he'd been talking to one of his peers and they'd been talking about what I'd been doing. And he shared this story where this other person said, the thing about Kate is that you don't realize she has sharp elbows until you've walked right into them and it's too late. While it sounds really, really small, the boost that gave me to be able to continue to do things the way I wanted to do them was immense. So whenever someone tells you there's not enough space at the table, I would strongly encourage you to grab that chair, lean on your crew, and create space at the table for yourself. I promise if you are deliberate about this, it really helps us reach for more and do more together. So on that note, thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the event.